Hello everyone and welcome back to Smart Money Insight. My name is Rain and today we are going to dive into one of the most transformative technology of our time, and this is called NVIDIA. Now, you probably have heard about this NVIDIA before. Maybe you've been using the product for quite some time, either to game, to design, or just simply to create anything. But you never heard that their latest innovations, which was introduced back in March 2024, which we call it the Blackwell architecture, is right now setting up a new stage for a new era in artificial intelligence, in cloud computing, and in high-performance graphics, and more importantly, what that means for their stocks. And most importantly, how we could profit from this current hype. So in today's episode, we are going to explore about this Blackwell technology, on how this will benefit us as a traders and how we could potentially profit by up to 17% from this game-changing technology. So you want to stick around, because by the end of this episode, you have a clearer picture in analyzing NVIDIA's stock price movement. So whether the current sentiment suggests the price is overvalued or if a correction is on horizons. Plus, you will be able to strategize a short-term actionable step to capitalize on these developments. So let's jump right in. Well, before we do with some analysis, I think there's one article that I found very interesting coming from the Investopedia. And this article was published on the 2nd January 2025. So the reason why it is very interesting, because, well, this article tells about analysts and Wall Street, what they think about the stocks, especially ahead of this upcoming important event called the CES keynote. And this CES stands for the Consumer Electronics Shows. Well, these events would be, the shows is on the coming Monday, 6th of January 2025. Basically, it's going to be about tomorrow, and this is important. This event is going to be very important, which I'm going to share with you later why it seems so important. But simply, you want to follow up closely, especially for those of you who hold some of the stocks or planning to buy some of the NVIDIA stocks. Basically, on this event, that the CEO Jensen Huang is going to be talking about its latest technology and its sales. So they're talking about the Blackwell architectures. So a lot of analysts, they believe that during the event that the company will raise their sales expectations. And at the same time, they also strongly believe that this event, they take it as a potential growth catalyst for NVIDIA, even after the shares surged about 170% in 2024. So this whole event can be seen as the new bullish vibe, or giving a bullish vibe for the NVIDIA stocks. And this likely to push the price higher. Now, some interesting point here also to note that almost all analysts, I would say, they are giving a very positive view, or maintain at the buy view, especially for some analysts like Morgan Stanley's, Bank of America, and Bernstein. Recently, they named the NVIDIA stock as the top pick stock. So they have a consensus price target about $177, which right now is about $144. Well, another things like Citi, they have a very, very bullish view about the technology or the solutions of Blackwell here. So according to Citi, that Mr. Huang mentioned that their latest innovation, the Blackwell architecture, was insanely on demand. So in general, I would say a lot of analysts having a very, very good positive view towards the NVIDIA stocks. Now let's check it out on its price analysis. Now let's have a look on the NVIDIA price chart over here. Well, as you could see, we can identify easily two very prominent trend channel. The first one, the black color, is to evaluate its long-term trend, which we call it as the key channel. And looking at the long-term trend, it's kind of obvious that the price is still on ascending mode. It's very bullish. Now, on the shorter mode or in a medium term, I would say, which is represented by this more aggressive green color channel, coming with the steeper gradient here. And I would say it's kind of important that for us to be able to identify this green channel for a very simple reason, because when you have a closer observations about the resistance and the support here, all right, then we could realize that this formation is becoming clearer since March 2024, around these periods. And if you remember that in March 2024, that the NVIDIA started to introduce their latest technology, the Blackwell architecture, and therefore that this introduction to their solution seems like changing the price, the fundamental of the price, and the growth is becoming steeper. Now let's take a look at the price today, and the price today is sitting at $144.47. And when we zoom out a little bit, we realize that there is a price correction last month over here. And why I would say that it's kind of an opportunity for us, that because if we track historically, that when correction happens, the price tends to rebound. So this is the first example, second example, third example, and this potentially could be the fourth example. So if we take this pattern and we replicate in today's scenario, so we might be expecting the price gonna be further up. So it could be further up here, or it could be testing at this resistance. And this is the one that we are going to analyze further. So if we take a closer look over here as a price at 144 today, well, I would say that it probably is going to be up here and testing at the first resistance at 154, I would say, 154. And if the bullish sentiment remains, probably that this will cross over this resistance and continue to appreciate further up. And probably we are going to be expecting about 160 something, all right, 168 thereabout. However, if the stock failed to rebound, meaning say that we are expecting probably a pull down from the stocks, then probably we might be expecting here as a very good support level coming from the secondary channel and the key channel here at $135 level, all right? And if the further pull down happens, then probably it's gonna be further drop plunge towards this level, or probably I would say about $121 or $120 level, all right? So at a glance, I would say, judging from its price patterns, it seems strongly, I believe that it's a solid rebound over here. And I strongly believe, looking from the price patterns, then the stock is about to appreciate further. However, for us to analyze deeper, then we need to understand the current sentiment on the ground, by looking at the implied volatility. So next we're going to analyze the movement, the price movement from the implied volatility smell chart. Now let's take a look at the next page. Now let's take a look at this implied volatility smell chart. And for those of you kind of new with the chart, let me try to explain about how to read the chart. Well, this y-axis represents the level of the implied volatility. The x-axis represents the strike price, the bottom here represents the volume of transactions, the blue dot represents the put options, and the red dot represents for the call options. Now, if you observe in general that the IV, and if you compare the IV between put and the call options, then you realize that the level of IV for put is higher than the level of the call options here. So this is suggesting there is a fear in the stock market for NVIDIA. Now, as per today, the price about $144. So this is at the money level. And looking at the volume, there's a bump or a sizable volume here for the put options with the elevated IV here. So we might expect this level, which is the price of $135 level, could be a support for the NVIDIA stock. And at the same time, there's a sizable volume at the strike level for $150 for the call options. This might indicate as a resistance for NVIDIA. Well, I would say that this is reflecting optimism because traders speculating that the stock could rise further. Well, there's one unique behavior of this stock as per today. I would say that looking at, well, you see there's a spike of the significant rise of the IV here from the call option. So this indicates that, well, if the price cross beyond this $150 strike level, the price tends to go up and higher. So looking at the current volume, because there's a significant volume at $170 strike level, so we might expect that this is going to be the next resistance level, or the price that the NVIDIA will try to go to at the moment it breaks $150 price level. Now, at the same time, when you look at, there's a sharp incline of the IV here from the put options, means that the moment that it breaks down from the support, there's a chance that price will plunge down further. And looking at the current volume, we might take this at $125 as a possible next support level for the NVIDIA. So that's going to be the current behavior. So, well, it might be going to be further up to $170 the moment it breaks $150, or it plunges down further the moment it crosses below its support level. However, there's one thing very peculiar that I would like to highlight here. It's going to be the volume of the call options. The strike level $170 here is very, very high. So I would say that this highly indicates that traders or more traders are betting on the potential rally. While it's arguable that, well, it is true that the premium for these calls is relatively low or cheap, but these large spikes still remain unusual. So there could be a lot of possibility. I mean, can be seen in many ways. So one of the way, is there any possible informations that probably they know which we don't, all right? And is there anything that possibly going to be revealed during the upcoming event, the CES tomorrow, by the CEO that we don't know yet? So, well, this is something that for you to take note. However, in short or in summary, I would say there are a lot of traders are betting on the rally up to $170 price level. Well, so to understand about the next on the sentiment, we would like to analyze on the current trend. ID trend. But before that, we also would like to understand whether or not any potential smart money entry opportunity happening on the stock. And to do that, I will be using our proprietary system called TraderGPS. Now, why is identifying this smart money entry opportunity so important? Well, as many of you as a trader may already know that systematic inflow of smart money tends to drive price higher with relatively lower risk. So this provides us as a traders with a chance to capitalize on potentially profitable trades with reduced risk. Now, let me show you on how this TraderGPS system can identify a potential smart money opportunity and how easily you can use these informations to make your trade entries. Now, let's take a look at this platform. Let me show you about how we could easily activate this TraderGPS system. Well, with a click of buttons, then the system will automatically compute and help us identifying this smart money opportunity. Well, our job as a traders is becoming so simple because we just need to identify those green arrows pointing upward, because that is when the system identifies there's a potential smart money joining into the stock at that time. All right, so let's take a look at this first opportunity here. This is where the stock was identified at a price of $48, and when the smart money joined into the stock, it drove the price higher up to $93. So if you ride together with the smart money, means that you have the opportunity to sell at a price of $93, means that you have an opportunity to make a good return over here up to 100%. And this happens within a very short span of time of 3 months. Alright, now let's take a look at the second opportunity here. Well, when the NVIDIA was spotted, the opportunity spotted here at a price of $92, and then the price went higher since then, and it went higher up to about $140. So it means that if you successfully bought at this price, you have a chance to sell it at $140. Meaning to say that you have a chance to earn up to about 50%. This happens very quickly within short span of about 2 months. So this shows you how simple as a trader, just try to identify this opportunity and we ride or making money together with the smart money. Now let's take a look at the third example or opportunities here. As you probably know, the beauty of joining this smart money opportunity that the risk is relatively lower, or it caps the damage. Now let's take a look that on the third opportunity here. When it first identified here, the price was at $120, and then it drove the price slightly higher, and if you take a look on the right is about $128, and then assuming that you failed to sell it at the time, then the price dropped to here, to this point, and this is, we are talking about $112. So your potential loss is -$8. So relative to its entry point, your risk is just about -6 or -7%. So when you put this potential loss relative to its return, about 100% or 50%, I would say that 6 or 7% potential loss is very, very minimum or very, very low. And this is what a lot of traders love from joining this potential smart money entry, because of, well, the risk, the management of the risk is pretty good, I would say. Now let's take a look at the fourth opportunity here. when the price was identified at $121, and then the smart money drove the price higher up to about 150, I would say, about 148. So if you successfully join at this price level, means that you have a chance to make about $30. $30. So relative to its entry point, it means about 25 to 30% potential upside. All right, and again, it's very important. It's only happened just in 2 months' time or 3 months' time. All right, so this is the reason why a lot of traders, they love joining this smart money opportunity. All right, because your upside is relatively high and your downside is relatively lower, means that your risk is much lower compared to your potential rewards. And as per today, you could see that there is an arrow here. So the system, I would say that it's identified on the 3rd of January 2025. The system identifies that there's a potential smart money joining into the NVIDIA stocks. All right. Now, for those of you who want to know more about how this TraderGPS system works, or how this smart money entry opportunity can help us as a traders to trade better or smarter in the stock market, then you would like to check at the link given in the descriptions below. Now, let's take a look at this implied volatility trend chart. And for those of you kind of new with the chart, let me try to explain about how to read the chart. Well, this y-axis represents the implied volatility level, whereas this x-axis represents the date, the red color represents the call options, the blue color here represents the put options, and then the purple dot represents the 200 days moving average of the implied volatility, and the green dot represents the 50 days moving average of the implied volatility. Now, when you look at the chart here, you notice that the IV, the implied volatility, climbed up till the peak here, somewhere around 19th of December, which means that traders back then were pricing in higher uncertainty, possibly due to the anticipation of the big move. It could be, because just a year-end, or probably of the change of the interest rate. But since then, I would say that the trend of this implied volatility kind of like dropping here. So this is suggesting that some of the uncertainty is kind of faded, but the overall IV levels here is still higher than the IV back in somewhere early December. Now, you also want to take note inside this circle, as the put options, the IV of the put option is still higher than the volatility or the IV for the call option over here. So this usually indicates that in the short term, that the level of fear of the price drop is still stronger than the greed for a rise in the price. So as a traders, we would like to pay attention closely at this point. Now, we also want to take note that comparing to the 50-day moving average of the IV and also the 200 days moving average of the IV, then the IV relatively remain steady. So meaning to say that while we are seeing a short-term swings, but the long-term volatility has not really spiked dramatically. So this pattern indicates a mix or a confusion between a fear and optimism in the markets. So I would say that traders seems cautious about the near-term or the short-term risk, but they don't, or they have not really lost the confidence in the stock, in the NVIDIA, in the long term, or in its long-term story. So the rumor about the new product launches at the upcoming CES or Consumer Electronics Show are adding to the bullish case. However, the macro headwinds like interest rate hikes and broader tech sell-off are keeping the downside risk alive. So if NVIDIA breaks below this $135 price level, then we could anticipate a sharper sell-off in the markets. But if the stock breaks above the $150 price level, then we could potentially see a rally towards $170 price level, and this is a potential 17% upside. So with these product launches and partnership in the pipeline, I would say that this scenario is not really far-fetched from today. Now, while the price pattern that we see is kind of like a solid rebound, its implied volatility paint a picture of divided sentiment. It's a combination of a fear and the greed. So I would say that the clearer direction would really depend on what we see and what we hear during the CES event on this upcoming Monday, 6th of January 2025. However, traders generally believe that probability for bullishness is greater than the probability of the bearishness, and also investor is still believing in the long-term AI story. So I would say that this really drives the confidence for the short-term traders or short-term play. So I would say that that is all the analysis that I have for the NVIDIA today. And if you believe that my sharing is useful, then please give the thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification so you don't miss out any good opportunities. And also, please leave any comments below if you want me to analyze your favorite stocks whenever the opportunity comes, so I can share more smart money insight for you. So see you at the next ones and trade smart.